cowboys wouldn't live beneath what they thought was a cowboy life. In one of the movies, he talks about a cowboy that was down on his luck and money was short, and for some reason somebody's horse broke away in the middle of the village, and he captured the horse and really looked stylish in doing it. And some promoter was there and decided that he was going to put him in a Western show. And so he was going to wear spangles and do all that kind of stuff and ride in the Western show, which back in those days, I guess during that transition period, Western shows are pretty popular. And the guy thought about doing it and actually probably accepted the job, and then he thought, you know, some things are just not for sale. And so he reneged on the deal, and I can't remember the name of the movie, but he reneged on the deal. I think this is the one where he jumped his horse over the hood of the car. But he reneged on the deal because it was beneath what a cowboy did. Some things are just not for sale. We need to be ever mindful at New Mexico State University that not everything is for sale here. Not everything is for sale. Our reputation is not for sale. We have continuously companies coming bidding on projects around here that say, oh, we want New Mexico State as a partner. Well, what's in it for us? Well, we want you as a partner, and then if we get the grant, maybe there'll be some money in it. And that sense. What they want is to use our brand. They want to use our brand to have leverage to get some kind of deal. We cannot be in a position in New Mexico State University just to sell it. We cannot do that and maintain our reputation. One of these days, if we're not careful, we'll sell that brand and get us in trouble. But remember that some things are just not for sale at New Mexico State University. Would you agree, Madam President?
Totally would.
And so as a consequence, I think we have to be careful. Okay, what's the next one? Know where to draw the line. Cowboys they would say just because something isn't illegal doesn't mean it's right. Good fences make good neighbors. People who are from ranches and farms know that's a very prominent statement. Good fences make good neighbors. And by the way, I think under the law in the state of New Mexico, half the fence you have to maintain, the other half the other guys have to maintain when you have a border fence. Is that correct? And so good fences make good neighbors. And so you got to know when to draw the line, and I think that's pretty important for us to remember. A good point by the Cowboys. Lastly.
Garrett?
Yes, sir.
My grandmother had a phrase that someone said when she was a junior. It's okay to eat a little cheese, just don't get constipated.
Yeah, I doubt if the Cowboys would have thought of that. Maybe they're short of cheese. Okay, and then we're going to wrap it up with a couple of things here. This one is out of order, but I wanted to put it last. And it's called Ride for the Brand. And the thing that caught my eye about reading Owen's book, and after the dean at the University of Wyoming gave it to me, I looked down through the list of 10, of which we're now on the number 10. And Ride for the Brand resonated with me. And in the old days for cowboys, when they threw their bedroll on the wagon for the drive, they were riding for the brand. And they would make it to the end riding for the brand. Didn't mean that they had to like the wrangler, they had to like the cook, but they, under every circumstances, were riding for the brand. Now, in my view, here at New Mexico State University, we need to wrap our minds around the fact that even though we have differences of opinion, even though I can't stand Mike Moorhead's golf game, even though the provost may bedevil me, we all ride for the brand, and this is the brand. And we ride for the brand, and we have to understand that. And the one thing you can do, if you don't want to ride for the brand, is you can find another cattle drive. But you need to always ride for the brand. And I think the most important thing I got out of the Code of Ethics for cowboys is they always ride for the brand. And so with that, hoping that you would think that's a good thing for us to do at New Mexico State University, I have purchased a branding iron, which I expect the president to display in her office in a prominent place. And it comes from the College of Agriculture. This is actually a registered brand to the College of Agriculture. They use a much smaller brand. You could brand elephants with this thing.
It's just for those that get tenure.
Yeah. Oh, you brand them with this? Oh, okay. You won't have many applications in the future. But this is obviously the state of New Mexico, and the College of Ag they have a number of brands, but it's a registered brand to the college. It has a number and all of that sort of thing. Ben actually called it to my attention. That's the smaller version of it right there, where somebody branded the piece of leather. But I would like for us to go away today thinking, you know, I've been a little upset with the regents, or I've been a little upset with the president, or I've been a little upset with a department head, or whatever the case may be. Well, we all have our little challenges on a day-to-day basis. Even if we're doing it with courage, there are challenges. We just need to remember that we ride for the brand. And if we all ride for the brand, this university will continue to be a fantastic place. Madam President, I would expect the next time I come see you, whether I'm in good behavior or bad behavior, I would want you to have that placed in your office. And when someone says, "What in the world is that?" you would get rid of the hat and talk. And you, and you would talk about it. And give me the last one. The takeaway from the book very simply is everybody needs a code, a creed to live by. And basically we all have our own internal codes. We may not always have the same code of ethics. It depends upon where we grew up and our background. And you know, some people think doing 8 out of the 10 commandments is probably a pretty good ratio. But we all have our own codes. We all have our own principles to live with. But everybody needs a code to guide their lives. We can have rules and regulations to modify your behavior, but your life is a whole lot simpler if you have your own code. Now, I want to demonstrate a couple things to you. I have my colleague here, Bernadette Montoya. And I was talking to Bernadette about this, and she says there's a song which will pass out. Ricardo, would you help us with this? There's a song called the Night Rider's Lament. So when we're... What? You want to sit out there? Oh, go right ahead. Go ahead. You can go ahead. We need you out here anyway. It's called the Night Rider's Lament, and the reason that Bernadette and I agreed to this pretty simply was you kind of wonder sometimes why you do what you're doing. You know, why am I in New Mexico State? Why am I doing that? Why did I leave Auburn and do this? Or why did I leave business and do this? And then some of us complain, I could make a lot more money somewhere else. And that's probably true. Why am I doing this? This song is about a cowboy who receives a letter from back east. And the letter from back east essentially says, why are you doing what you're doing? And the response in this song is, this is why I do what I do. It's the Cowboy's Lament. My good friend, Bernadette Montoya, and I'm going to put you on the mic, okay?
I think I'll be back here.
Well, he wants to record, because I'll stand by you while you sing,
I'll
okay?
Just sing into you then.
Okay. There's a duet.
As I was out a-riding, the graveyard shift midnight till dawn.